Hi and welcome to Yoga Wheel Outer Thighs and Glutes. For today's workout, all you will need is your yoga wheel and an exercise mat if you're working out on hard floor. We're going to get straight into it. There's not going to be much of a warm-up, so if you need to warm up if you're in a cold environment, then please do that and then come back to this. Okay, we're going to start off without the wheel. So I just want you to come into a side lying position where you're stacked nicely with your shoulder above your elbow. You've got your hips stacked, so don't roll back. Keep them in line, and then bring your legs forward at approximately a 45-degree angle. We're just going to start with some nice big circles for the legs. So I want you to focus on keeping the knee facing the front of the room. Don't allow it to turn up to the ceiling. And the way to do that is by keeping your chest forward, placing your other hand in front, keeping your tummy pulled in, and focusing on that hip remaining stacked on top of the bottom hip. So large circles, really big, all the way up. Go for another 4, 3, 2, 1, and now we're just going to reverse that. So go to the front and then to the back. Once again, making sure that your outer thigh stays facing the ceiling the entire time. Up and around. Up and around. Hold your tummies in, your shoulders are relaxed, your neck is nice and long, all the way around and around for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Now we're going to take the wheel and we're going to thread both of our legs through it. And we're going to keep the wheel just at our ankles. So I need you to press out on that wheel. Keep your body positioning perfect. Keep yourself in nice alignment, and we're going to come up and down with those legs. Now this is going to be tough, so you can rest on the floor for just a second before coming back up. If you're finding this too hard in this upward position, upright position with your upper body, you can come all the way down and try it down here. Okay, that will take some of the oblique action out of it, but no matter how you do it, it's going to be tough because we're lifting the weight of that wheel. Okay, so it's up and up, not too many more. I know it's hard. It's 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, can you feel that? Really starting to heat up. So if your wheel ever comes too far up, you can just push it back with your legs. Now come back into that perfect position. This time I want your legs completely in line, and I just want you to press down with the bottom leg and push up with the top leg. You're pressing your ankle into the inside of the wheel. It's a tiny move. You're hardly even going to be able to see my leg moving, but I'm pressing, 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 pressing. The bottom leg is just anchoring that, and you will feel that burning, burning right in here, right in that saddlebag area. Press, press, really feeling that. Keep breathing. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. Now we're going to make it a little bit easier and bring your wheel up by your knees. Bring your legs in front again. Now because it's further up, it's going to be a bit easier to lift, and we're just doing a few more of those double leg raises. Press your hand into the mat so that it helps you lever. Come up and rest for a second. Come up and rest. I want a gap in between your legs. Don't let your top leg fall. The whole point is that the entire time you're pushing out on the inside of this wheel. Just 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. I know it's hard. Come onto your back. You can lay all the way down, and we're going to keep the wheel just above the knees and press out. Now I want you to turn your feet out so your heels are together, but your feet are slightly turned out, and you're just pressing out with your thighs on the inside of that wheel. So again, it's a tiny, tiny motion. You're hardly going to see this. It's so small, but it's really effective on all of those outer thighs. So just push out. Pushing out. Keep your legs straight as sticks here. Point your toes and push out with those thighs. Really feeling it, especially on the leg that was on top a second ago. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. We're going to come to the other side and repeat that sequence. So remember, we started with the circle, so you can put your wheel to the side and align yourself perfectly once again. Your hips are stacked and then your legs are coming at 45 degrees. Nice upright posture, and we're just going to start with those large circles. Breathing, keeping your outer thigh facing the ceiling and really exaggerating that, warming up all through the outer thighs. Keep your toes pointed and make sure your tummy's pulled in to support your core. Nice long necks, don't slouch into the shoulder, and breathe. Big circles. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now we're going the other way. Up and around and back. Big circle. One side might be tighter than the other, so just try your best to make it as big as you can. Working one side at a time is really good because it evens out any imbalanced areas in our body. Our dominant muscles or our dominant side usually takes over when we do both sides at the same time, like in squats and things like that. So when you're just doing one side, you are focusing on that side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now grab your wheel and thread it through, and we're starting with it around our ankles. We're still going to stay slightly forward. Press your hand in, and we're coming up and down, up and down. And every time you lift, blow out. If you find this really tough to do with your hand in front, you can roll slightly back on your hip and bring your legs a little bit more forward. Hold your tummies in, and that's going to take some of the oblique action out of it. But the main point is you need to feel it on that outer thigh. So make sure you're aligned in such a way that you feel this really burning. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now once again, if your wheel moves up, push it back down. Now anchor the bottom leg, and remember, hips are stacked, push up. You're pushing up with your ankle and your foot on the inside of that wheel. Okay, so push, push. You can hardly see the motion, but the burn is real. Push, push. Point your toes. Keep breathing. Breathing is the key to getting oxygen into that muscle so that you can survive the burn. Okay, this is just lactic acid that's building up in there, so that's why it's burning. So relax and breathe. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring it higher, so around just above the knees, and we're going to do the same thing again, raising up. Not many, I know these burn, so remember, raising up and anchoring. Now because it's higher, It's slightly easier. Still not easy though. We know that. So remember, focus on there being a gap in between your legs, and you're raising up, pushing your outer thigh against the inside of that wheel. Go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. That burned. Now just that little series once again with our legs up and pushing out. So you can stay up like this if you find it more comfortable, or you can lie all the way down. It doesn't really matter. What I want you to focus on is pushing out and out. Out and out. So you can turn your heels in together, your toes slightly out, and push against the inside. So you need to have your legs far enough apart anyway to hold the wheel in place, and then push out. A tiny, tiny motion. Tummies are in. Push and push. Just keep breathing. Keep pushing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Just grab that wheel and sit yourself up. Now we're going back to working the first side, and we're going to come into a pretzel position. So what I want you to do is line your belly button up with your front knee, and that can just be parallel. Then this leg, I want you to bring it behind your hip line, at least in line, but if you can bring your knee behind, the further back, the better, okay? So that's where we're going to start. We're going to twist our hip forward. You can even put your hand in front. I really want you to focus on bringing your hip forward. Now we're going to take the wheel and place it on our thigh. And that's where we're going to start. Nice upright shoulders, nice upright back, and we're just going to start raising. And the focus is going to be pushing down on that wheel as you bring your leg up. Okay, so you're creating extra resistance there. Working against that pressure. So try to think about squeezing that glute at the same time as lifting. So you're working your outer thighs and your glutes and a bit of hip. The more upright you stay in the body, the more you're going to work this oblique area as well. So that's a bonus. Try not to put heaps of weight on this supporting arm. And keep your leg behind the hip line. Your foot is up and you're raising. Really feeling the burn by pushing down on that. Go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold it up, and we're just going to poke to the back, but you're going to keep the tension on that wheel. So you're starting at your hip line, and then you're pushing back, back, back. Keep going. It doesn't have to be high. I know that you feel this. Keep going. Keep breathing through it. Back and back. The harder you push down, the more you're going to feel this. So don't cheat yourself. If you're not feeling this, push down harder. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down. Now I want you to extend your leg. So once again, check that your hips are stacked. Roll forward. Your leg is behind your hip line. You're still pressing down on the wheel, and we're just going to rotate really far forward and lift. Lift. If this is getting too hard on your obliques, you can come down like this, and that will just focus on those outer thighs. But if you do this, you have to promise that you're going to push even harder on the wheel. If you stay up here, you're going to feel it in that muffin top area as well, which is a bonus. But I still want you to push, push, put pressure on that wheel, push. Keep your knee to the front and keep breathing. up, and up. Go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quick breath, bend your leg. Last thing on this side, we're going back in that position. So remember, stack your hips, roll forward, squeeze your glutes, your leg is behind the hip line. Bring it up, push down, and just sweep to the front and to the back. Push down on the wheel and back, front and back. Same horizontal plane for that leg. Squeeze your glutes. Stay upright. You should be pushing hard enough that you're starting to shake in that leg. And back, 4, and back, 3, and back, 2, and last 1. Nice job. We're doing that to the other side. So just switch it over. Okay, so once again, align your belly button with that leg. Now this leg is behind the hip, so if you draw a line from your hip to your knee should be behind that hip, okay? Then I want you to lean forward so that your hip is turned to the front. Get your wheel, put it in the middle of your thigh. Your foot is up, you're nice and upright, light hand here, don't lean right into it if you can, and start raising. Start to breathe out as you push up and push down on that wheel. Okay, so holding your tummy in here, really nice and strong. That will protect the core and help you to keep that nice upright posture. Up, up. Don't lean your leg down at the bottom, okay? Just a tiny tap and then back up. And don't allow it to float to the front. It's going to want to come further and further forward. Don't let it. Up. Squeeze. Resist. Keep breathing. Remember, it's only lactic acid. You can do this. Your foot is higher than your knee, and you're turning that hip forward. If you want to lean further forward with your upper body, you can. That will help you to keep that hip in alignment. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Keep pushing down. 2, 1. Deep breath. Hold it up, and we're going to poke to the back. So remember, you're starting already with your knee behind the hip. You're pushing down and you're pushing your toe towards the back wall. Just push it. It doesn't need to be high, but it needs to be off the floor. So don't graze the floor. And push. And don't swing forward past the hip line. Start at the hip and go back from there. Push. Squeeze your glutes. You can do this. Push down. All the way back. Keep breathing. Remember, if it's too much, come down here, but then you have to press down harder. Okay? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now stretch out your leg. Come back up for a second. Remember, your hip is to the front. Point that toe and roll your kneecap down. That's going to help you to keep that alignment. Your leg is back further than your hip. Deep breath in and start raising. Push down on the wheel. Raise. Raise. You're tapping down. And then coming straight back up. Kneecap to the front. This is tough, but we need to be tough because saddlebags are a hard area to target. So we need to really work hard to burn that out. Is your leg shaking? Mine's shaking. So if yours isn't, you're not pushing down hard enough or you're not lifting high enough. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down for a second, bend that. Release. Last exercise on this side. Back into position. Push down. Kneecap is downward. Lift the leg and it's to the front and back. Push down and back, keeping your outer thigh to the ceiling at all times. Don't turn your knee up to the ceiling, and out. Breathe. Squeeze your quads, squeeze your glutes, especially at the back. Keep it in the same horizontal plane. You can do this. Go 5, 4, keep it high, 3, 2, and last 1. Nice job. Just come up. We're going to stretch that out really quickly. So I want a figure 4 stretch. Bring your chest towards your leg. Deep breaths. And then just switch sides. We're not done. So most of those exercises were outer thighs and glutes. And now we're going to pure glutes and a bit of hamstring. Okay, so let's do this. Back to the first leg. So always make sure you switch. We're going to put the wheel on our calf and lock it in, okay? So my foot is pushing it against my thigh. Then I'm going to come into that perfect tabletop with nice alignment, tummy's in, back is flat, and we're just going to start raising up and down. So you're going to have to find the position you need to be in to lock that wheel in. Slow and controlled, blowing up, blowing out on the up, then coming down, tapping lightly, but not resting down, and pushing back up. Squeeze it. So you're squeezing that wheel with your heel, which means you're engaging your hamstring there. Should be really feeling that in your hamstring. Push out of the shoulders. Keep breathing. Just keep pushing up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold it up and just pulse it. Just pulse it up. Make sure you're pressing in on the wheel. Just pulse it high. Keep going. Squeeze and pulse. Squeeze your glute. Squeeze your heel against the wheel. And push up. Keep going. Just breathe through the burn. Up and up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now come down, safely grab the wheel, just press back, stretch that out for a second, and we're going to come to the other side. So I'll just turn so you can see that better. Put it behind, then anchor it in with your heel. Okay, so you need to be able to push your heel against that. Then test it, up and down, up and down. Is it locked in? You can always stop and adjust it. I'd rather you have the wheel in perfect positioning before you start so that you get a really good squeeze on it, because that's what's going to engage the hamstrings. So come up to your high point and squeeze the glutes up there. Breathe out on the up. Keep your shoulders nice and wide. Push out through your shoulder blades. Your neck is long. Look in front of you. And just focus on that glute and hamstring. Hold your tummies in and push. Squeeze. Up and up. It's controlled. You need to create your intention here because we're really focusing on controlling it up and down. It's not a huge, fast-paced workout or one with lots of weight. You need to push as hard as you can and put your mind to the muscle that you're working. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold it up there and just pulse up. Squeeze in and pulse. You need to come up high. Squeeze your glute and push your heel against that wheel and up, up, up. If your wheel's starting to move or you need to adjust it, just do that. Don't slouch. Up. Keep going, a few more. Just breathe. It's tiny. It's a tiny motion. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring it down. Take the wheel out. Just sit back for a second. And now the last little thing, we're going to lay down on our tummies and we're going to put the wheel back in between our ankles. So just push it down, grab it with your ankles, push your feet and your ankles into the wheel so you can pick it up like this. And we're going to come down with our upper body and just raise. Raise. Squeeze your glutes, push against that wheel and raise it up. Push it up. Keep your neck nice and long. It's up and up. Try to lift up as high as you possibly can, squeezing those glutes. Up and up. Lift all your thighs off the mat. Push. Push. Keep breathing. Last little bit. You can do this. Up and up. Go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're doing the same sort of thing, but we're going to thread our feet through again. Okay, so thread your feet through. Make sure it's around your ankles. Bring your legs up, push out, and same thing, up and up. So you might want to turn your knees out a bit here. It will help you to anchor that wheel. So it's more like a little frog pose. You can flex your feet. The top of your feet will help hold the wheel in place. It's push. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze out on the wheel, and push up as high as you can. Up and up. Up and up. Just squeeze. Keep breathing. All the way up, up and up. Hold it for a second at the top as you squeeze your feet up to the ceiling. Up and up. Go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just hold it. Push out, up, all at the same time. Hold your tummies in. Raise your legs as high as you can. Squeeze your glutes. Pushing out with those feet. Raising up. Breathe through it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. Lose the wheel. Come to the front. Stretch it out. Legs are wide. Just stretch out. Great job. That was not easy. Come into a pigeon stretch. Stretching out your glute there. Nice deep breaths. And the other side, just bring your knee in front, other leg back, coming down as low as you feel comfortable. And then just stretching out our hamstrings on the wheel, bringing our chest forward, keep your back nice and straight. And one more time for the figure 4. Push your chest towards that leg. And switch. And just for the front of the thighs, come up and lean back and just push your hips to the ceiling. And that is it. Thanks so much for joining me for yoga wheel glutes and outer thighs. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you at the next segment.